The Indian hockey team for the 2022 Commonwealth Games has been selected. 18 players will be travelling to Birmingham in England to participate in the event, which is scheduled to take place from July 28 to August 8. Hello and very warm welcome to News 9 special show. This is Hardik Agrawal, News 9 Sports analyst, and today we will be analysing the hockey team selection for the Commonwealth Games with our sports editor, Mr. Sandeep Mishra, who is also the author of Forgive My Amma and Mohammed of Banaras. We will start our discussion with the goalkeepers. First, we have Srijesh Sandeep. Srijesh is the most experienced player on the team, 34 years old, but he hasn't been at his best recently. So, do you think amid the Commonwealth Games, can the keeper deliver his best performance?
I think, there are paths to every player. Srijesh is one of them. So, being the goalkeeper, there are times when, you get wicket deflections. You might just get an angle that you're not prepared for, even though with all the preparations and everything.
Right.
And you look at the experience of the man.
260 caps.
Absolutely. So, but the issue here, and it's a little bit of a worry, if it's not a huge worry for the team overall, is that I don't know whether it's age or whether it's, a little bit of the flexibility going down. But most players, when they reach 34, 35, 36, there is a wane. Now, there are times when he's absolutely brilliant, but there are times when, there is a ball that goes between the pads.
Right.
Now, in a crunch game, in a crucial game, that's the difference between 2-1, that's the difference between 3-2, that's the difference in a shootout which we saw in the last two
Netherlands
against Netherlands.
Yeah.
Those are the areas of worry. And I think that's where probably Graham and the entire management would probably be focusing on him as to how to get the best out of him and how to put him in which quarter. If you're going to play with two goalkeepers or you're going to play with just one for the duration of the entire match.
As you mentioned, the second goalkeeper, Kishan Pathak, with 66 caps, is he the good backup?
It's been a problem for the last 6 years that your second goalkeeper is essentially a second goalkeeper. Your second goalkeeper has never become the number one. Now you can have enough, opinions on that. You can have enough different ways to express it. But the number two is not delivering to the level that a number two should have been giving, you know, since the time he has come in, Srijesh. Now, he came in 2011 and 12 and then he's lasted all this while. Now, it says a lot about your number one goalkeeper that he has put up with an immense amount of competition, which is coming from domestic hockey. But India honestly and seriously needs to figure out how to get this number two right and how the number two becomes the number one in the times to come when Srijesh actually starts looking at retirement.
Right. This was the discussion related to the goalkeepers. Now we will be moving on to the defense line. At first we have Varun Kumar. Varun Kumar has 109 caps, 28 goals, and he's 26 years old. One of the most consistent players at defense for India. Hardly commits any error, always at the top of his game. Graham Reid relies heavily on Kumar during pressure situations. But Sandeep, how crucial will Kumar be for the Indian team in the Commonwealth Games?
He's always been, since the time he came in, he's only improved. And if you ask most of the data analysts and everybody who's actually looking at hockey from match to match and everything, his consistency level is at 8, There would be a bad day, that would be 7, but it's never going below that.
That's a great score.
Absolutely. For somebody who's in and out playing, international hockey and, at this particular level where, you got 4 quarters, he's got an entire defense to man, plus also understand he is or can be called up for flicking at any point of time.
Right.
But his best part is being on the right. He has that sense of position and he has a very, very good high scoop. Now, those are the attributes that most coaches look for. And of course, his errors are minimized. Now, any defender with a minimal error is a massive asset for anybody, for any
Certainly.
team.
Moving forward to Srinder Kumar with 159 caps, 4 goals and 28 years old. Surinder has a good understanding of the game. Sandeep at the back, and how can Surinder be important for the Indian team at the back?
For me, he is the most important. Don't even look at the goal. That's not his job.
Yeah, right.
Okay, he's an on-the-line defender during penalty corners and probably the most underrated defender in the world. You know, he is, in my book, there has been a bit of a criticism I was reading online about him as to why was he selected. You know, the reason is you don't see him. You know, he's not flamboyant. He's not giving TV interviews. He's not doing all of that. And I think that is where, you know, you can actually see his quality. He's an online guy. He's a guy who can be boxed in with 3 forwards and still take a ball out.
Right.
Leave alone the errors. That happens with most defenders. This is not a game where you have immense space. You have 6 players in a 3-inch, 6-inch, 12-inch situation.
Right.
In a situation like that, he's your best man. And I think he's going to go all the way to Paris, leave alone the Commonwealth Games. I see him for a long time right now.
In the defense line, we also have Manpreet, Amit Rohidas, Jugraj Singh and Manpreet Singh. Talking about Manpreet, he is just 1 cap away from his 150th appearances and he has 106 goals in 149 matches. So, how crucial will Manpreet be?
He is your kingpin. You know, he is your defender. He is your coolest guy at the back and he is your asset in the penalty corners. He's the one who gets you the goals. He's the one who gets you crunch situation goals. He's the one who gives you 2-2, 3-3, 4-3. He's the one who will give you the last minute goal if there is a penalty corner. But you also have to take in the great calmness that he comes with, you know, in the defense. If there is a situation where there are 3 forwards in him, you would still on a very large scale understand and realize that he can flick a ball out.
Right.
And then he doesn't just do that. He won't do a parallel to the left or he won't do a parallel to the right. He will skip 1 or 2 and then he will launch a counter attack. That is his biggest asset. His biggest asset is the long ball, biggest asset is counter attack and his calming nature that he brings to the field for the team.
Right. And if we talk about the defensive line collectively, also taking into consideration Rohidas, Jugraj Singh and Manpreet Singh, how will the defense line shape up at the Commonwealth Games?
I think it just, all of them will be there. You know, Manpreet will of course be there. It's just a rolling substitution that happens at whichever situation. German, to me, from the time he played the Champions Trophy, the last one in Holland, he has improved immensely. There was a time when you felt that he wasn't flexible enough, he wasn't consistent enough, but he's bringing that in. Jugraj is young, he's a great flicker. Probably will take another year or a couple of years to really mature into a big guy. And the other problem in the defense, if I can call it a problem, is Amit Rohidas. Now, he is your best first runner, probably in the top 3 in the world. But he's inconsistent when it comes to boxed in situations inside the striking circle.
Right.
He has a tendency to hang on to the ball. He has a tendency of not looking up. Always understand, Manpreet looks up. Jugraj looks up. Looks up is what? Looks up is looking at and scanning the entire field. Amit has a problem sometimes in scanning. I think that's because you play hockey like that. Now, how you bring him in is the crucial part for Graham Reid and the management, when to put him into the team. Of course, if there is a penalty corner, he's your best. There is nobody better than him. He is an integral part of the team. Take out the inconsistencies, you have a great guy.
Right. Now we will be moving forward to the midfielders who govern the whole game for the team. And at top we have Manpreet Singh, who will be leading the Indian team after the Tokyo World Cup. 299 appearances for the Indian captain, just 1 short of his 300. So, Manpreet was under pressure at Tokyo, Sandeep. Can the pressure, will he fail or can his performance be affected at Commonwealth because of the captaincy?
No, I don't think so. I don't think, I mean, when you say he was under pressure, he's, number one, he's captain, so he's under pressure. At the Olympic Games, if you haven't won anything for 40, 42 years, you're always under pressure. He won, so that's probably a release of pressure. It's good that he wasn't the captain for most of these Pro League games and other ones, because he needed some little space. Amit took care of being captain in the team. At the Commonwealth, at the big championships, the World Cup and the others, he's a man who leads a team. He's the guy who everybody collects around.
Right.
And he's matured with time. I mean, I've seen him at the London Olympics 2012 crying like a baby after the Indian team finished 12th.
Right.
See the see the graph that he has brought into the team from 12th at the Olympics, last spot. You know, you want to commit suicide after that as a player. He's brought the team back to bronze. Now that's a graph that how many people can even have in terms of maturity. He brings a certain quality in the midfield.
His off-the-ball movements are very impressive.
Off the ball, he hangs on to the ball when it's required to. You know, that 6, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, 12 seconds, when you need somebody to hold the ball while a counter-attack can be built, he's your guy. But for me, he's a captain who brings calmness like Harman. He's the guy who understands situations. Now that's a key structure of anybody. That's why he's captain. That's why he's been given the captaincy for the Commonwealth Games. Another
interesting player in midfield is Hardik. And we also have Vivek, Sagar Prasad and Shamsher Singh and Akashdeep Singh and Nilkant Sharma in the midfield region. So overall, how does the midfield look?
Hardik's my favorite anyway. I mean, like if I'm a fan of a player, it's Hardik. Also simply because he understands positions. You can imagine his brain sticking over, you know, a little more than most. He understands where to place the ball. He understands how to undercut it. He understands which player is where and how to do it. He understands flanks like nobody else. But after him, there has been a little bit of online thing about Akashdeep, you know. Well, you didn't select him for Tokyo, was a surprise. You've selected him for Commonwealth Games, a lot of people are expressing surprise, you know. But I think Graham understands the essential part of Akashdeep. Vivek is a mastermind when it comes to third quarter, fourth quarter play in tight situations. Akashdeep is a guy, like we were discussing, that who goes wide of the striking circle. He stretches defenses.
Delivers crosses, cutback passes.
That's why he has those skills. That's why he has that quality. Once he stretches, no stretch can be possible without 2-3 defenders going after him. Which means the immense amount of gaps that are created for the forwards up front. Now that is the reason why he is there. Yes, if Simran was around, maybe there was a doubt whether he would have been selected. But with Simranjit injured or whatever that's happened to him, he becomes a very integral part of this side completely.
Right. Now we will be moving on to forwards who deliver the goals for the Indian team. We have, in the forward line, we have Manpreet Singh,
I think it will be Mandeep, it will be Gurjant.
We have Mandeep Singh in the forward line. He is the most experienced one with 127 caps and 78 goals. Then we have Gurjant Singh with 60 caps and 19 goals. Lalit Kumar Upadhyay with 127 caps and 29 goals. And then there is the young boy on the block, Abhishek, with just 14 caps and 7 goals. And those goals have come in unexpected situation, Sandeep.
He's a mastermind at creating a goal, scoring a goal. You know, there was this Australian player I remember called Mark Hager, you know, 2000 Sydney probably around. That guy was like, you know, in football when we talk about Gerd Muller and all these guys who are like, you know, inside the box, the moment you get a ball, it's a goal. Abhishek is like that. Lalit, among all of this, is the creator. If he gets into a box, if he gets into the striking circle, he would play along the half circle. Now, which means that he's going to create something, and then he waits for the others to get into spaces, empty spaces. They all run here back and forth, waiting for Lalit to understand where to put the ball. That's his massively big strength. Mandeep is off the ball fantastic. You know, 2014 World Cup, part of the Junior World Cup, all of that. He's superb in those situations, and at the same time, he is crazily brilliant at deflections. So, Gurjant is again a poacher. Gurjant is a guy who gets the ball, he'll move in, he'll take a smash, he'll take a hit, he will take deflections, he'll be constantly with the goalkeeper. He's a big hustler for the goalkeeper. He blocks the goalkeeper, he'll go to the left, he'll go to the right, of course, not getting into any kind of a body where, you know, you get an error out. But he's the kind of a guy who will draw goalkeepers out. If you really look at the forward line, this is what it is.
He could poach in on Akashdeep's ball inside the circle, right?
If Akashdeep is going to the left, let's say off the circle, and then he hits a reverse, Akashdeep and Gurjant would actually understand where the ball is going to be placed. and Gurjant comes in. Mandeep is another who understands Akashdeep's reverse hits. Now, those are the qualities that this bunch brings in. You did mention Dilpreet. Of course, you thought he was part of the team. We all think he was part of, he should have been part of the team. But how many can you take?
Right.
And I think it's fantastic that India has so many players who are on the bench, who are probably not being able to get selected simply because you have such a fabulous bunch out there. But Dilpreet, I think we all saw that goal that he scored.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, he's an amazing
From such
player.
a tight angle.
Same with Mandeep. These are all tight angle players. The more tighter, the better they become.
Right.
So you have a great team for the Commonwealth. I think it's just a matter of time, or rather how you look at that pool and how you can visualize being top of the pool, because understand the other part of the group has Australia. So Australia is going to top there by all means. India needs to top so they can meet Australia in the final and not in the semi-finals, because Australia is a damn tough team. So let's hope this becomes a great Commonwealth game. This team kind of improves more and more, and we somehow look at that bronze medal that we won in Tokyo as a catalyst to go on and clinch a gold medal at the Commonwealth, to go on and figure out how to reach the World Cup final in January, and then let's see what happens in Paris 2024.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. You gave us some incredible insights. That's it from this episode. We'll be back soon with more insights from the world of hockey. If you like this piece of information, then don't forget to like and share this video. Also, please leave your remarks in the comment section. This is Hardik Agrawal signing off.